anything and everything.
Do you ever wonder how to? Do you ever wonder why?
About anything and everything. Then Doris is your guide. Anything and everything will open your mind. Anything and everything with Doris. Anything and everything with Doris is online. Remember. Anything and everything with Doris.
You are listening to Anything and Everything with Doris podcast. This episode is brought to you by WYSK Spark Radio, the spark of the South. Listen to hits from the 70s to now. Find it on Live 365 Spark Radio. Hello everyone and welcome back. I hope you've had a blessed week. Today I would like to go over to HR 6666, COVID-19, testing, reaching, and contacting everyone, otherwise known as the TRACE Act. It's a newly proposed bill, and the entitled would permit the Secretary of Health and Human Services to award grants to various entities performing diagnostic testing for COVID-19 and related activities such as contact tracing through mobile health units and as necessary at individuals' residences and for other purposes. Now, naturally, this legislation says testing is not mandatory, but that you should. Now, of course, many concerned citizens are now questioning what these other purposes really are. And the buck doesn't stop there. As announced by the Pentagon, there are even life-changing implications for the military and COVID-19. When we read between the lines of Ventura County, California's recent announcement of their planned COVID-19 mitigation approach, we have reason to fear major government overstepping. Dr. Robert Levin recently suggested that in some cases, patients testing positive for COVID-19 might be removed from their homes and put in other kinds of housing, allegedly to prevent other people in their home from getting sick. Imagine finding out that your spouse, child, mother, or roommate tests positive for COVID-19 and then being told by local officials that you're not going to be able to keep that person in that home. And what would happen if you said no to the people at your door coming to take your sick family member away? It should be noted that since the release of this abhorrent video, that's right, there's a video out there, you could catch it on YouTube, and the understandable public backlash from it, Dr. Levin has since recanted or played down the idea of forced quarantine. But until and unless conversations from our officials become clearer and more clarified, we join many in their deep unease. With so much uncertainty and flip-flopping recommendations on how to mitigate the spread of this pandemic disease, it's no wonder we're uncomfortable and unsure of what to do and what's really going on these days. Remember on March 8th, 2020, when Dr. Anthony Fauci said in an interview for 60 Minutes that there's no reason to wear masks in public and that masks even may introduce unintended harm by increasing the likelihood that people will touch their face. At the time, he was specifically talking about surgical masks, perhaps as a call to preserve the PPE for medical workers. But even now that the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommends cloth masks in public, these homemade face coverings still don't offer full protection against viral droplets, and they never have. Certainly, we can hope that they'll help, but the fact that even infectious disease experts who supposedly have spent their careers studying and preparing for these exact scenarios can so quickly backpedal their own advice is a bit exasperating. This is exactly why so many people are floored by the early May statement from the Pentagon, which said that any military recruit who had previously been hospitalized with COVID-19 would be permanently barred from serving. Only a waiver process and additional medical testing could potentially circumvent the disqualification. According to a May 7th Times article about the new restrictions, this move, and I quote, adds COVID-19 hospitalization to a long list of medical conditions such as asthma that requires waivers, end quote. We understand the erring on the side of caution approach to this, and we certainly don't want to see anyone else lose their lives or livelihoods over this pandemic, but we cannot ignore the signs of some officials encroaching on citizens' basic rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What sort of precedent is being set? If COVID-19 is supposed to come back in waves as the 1918 influenza pandemic did, and as public officials claim, what more are we supposed to expect in the near future? I'd like you to think about, is this COVID-19 illness being blown out of proportion, or is it necessary caution? Does it seem reasonable, all that they're trying to put into this bill in order to save lives and slow the apparent spread of the virus? Or does it seem tyrannical? The forced removal of people from their own homes in the name of quarantine for COVID. And the other thing that keeps clicking in my head is when they say, for other purposes. They're not being clear, which means if they don't specify in this bill what those other purposes could be, it could be anything later on that's going to encroach on our life, liberty, and happiness. So I just wanted to give you a little heads up on what's going on. And you can find that video by Dr. Levin on YouTube if it's not taken down very soon. And they pointed out that you could hear him talk about people being removed from their homes at the 6-minute mark. I'm going to try to put that video in the links of our show notes, but I can't guarantee how long it's going to be there now that there's a big backlash on what he said. So it's just a little something for you to think about and maybe look into more further on this bill they're trying to propose called HR 6666. Thank you for listening, and God bless. And that's our show. Thanks for listening, and until we meet again, enjoy every day to its fullest. God bless. For comments or questions, you can reach us by email at yopi@post.com. Also, check us out on Twitter at Dorisi and our Facebook pages at Yopi Studio or Louisiana Entertainment Association. Anything and Everything with Doris is produced by Your Own Production Incorporated and comes out every week, so come on back. Feel free to add us to your favorite RSS feed and iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Pod, and our favorite, Podbean. All links are found in our show notes below.